This video was recorded live before a canned studio audience. It's Friday Night Movie Star Chris and Keith.
Hi, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being here with us tonight. We love it when you come and watch our videos. Tell your friends and family about us. Get them to watch it too. We went and saw a movie over the weekend. It's a new movie that just came out. We are a little bit behind on our movie reviews, but this one we're actually caught up with. And in case you haven't noticed, we're kind of giving away the movie that we went and saw. We went to see
Karate Kid Legends, or AKA Karate Kid 6.
Karate Kid.
There are no spoilers in this dojo.
Karate Kid Legends. Yes, Karate Kid Legends. Listen, this movie, basic premise is that Daniel LaRusso. Actually, hold on. It starts out in China.
Yes.
Starts out in China, and Jackie Chan is training a school of kung fu fighters.
Yes.
All right. And one of his star students,
Lee.
named Lee.
L.I.
Yep. Named Lee. L.I.
Mm-hmm.
is training there with him. It turns out that Lee and his mother are having to move to New York.
Because she's a doctor and she got a job there and she wanted to get out of Hong Kong because they had a tragedy in their family. I don't think that's a spoiler to reveal that information.
Yeah, not too much.
And Jackie Chan is playing the same character from Karate Kid 5, just known as AKA the Karate Kid. He is playing Mr. Han, so it is the same character. So this movie, Karate Kid is no longer a reboot. It's actually part 5 of the series.
Right. The one starring Jaden Smith is no longer a reboot. It is actually Karate Kid 5.
Yep. And so it explains in the movie, they're doing Kung Fu in that one, and notice that they stayed with the consistency that Lee knows Kung Fu, Mr. Han knows Kung Fu, even though the movie's called Karate Kid. So they do fix some mistakes, and I'm appreciative of Sony for doing that.
Right. Now there are certain aspects of this movie that we are not going to spoil, because if you want to find out about those, then you'll need to go and see it yourself. But I will say this, and this is the extent of what I will say about it. This movie actually ties together just about all of the other movies and the Cobra Kai series that's on Netflix.
Yes, there's not an end credit scene, but there is one at the very beginning of the credits. If you're a Cobra Kai fan, I don't want to spoil anything because there are no spoilers in this dojo. Stay for that scene and you will be rewarded, is all I'll say. I know that everybody, the whole 9 people that were in there with us, all of us cheered during that scene, and you'll understand why when you get there. So please stay and watch that.
Stay for the credits in this dojo. There are no spoilers in this dojo. Yeah,
yes, Sensei.
It's actually really cool. It's actually really cool. Now, here's the thing. The basic premise of the movie is you have Lee who moves to New York, and of course, when he gets there, there is a bully. Of course, that's what every single Karate Kid movie is about.
Yep.
It's about,
and there's a girl.
It's about
always a girl,
an underdog. Well, not in the next Karate Kid.
Oh no! She had a boy.
She had a boy.
Yeah. But Julie Pierce did have a boy.
There is a significant other.
Yeah,
and so that's just a given with every single Karate Kid movie. So he moves to New York, and there's a bully, there's a girl, and of course the bully and the girl have a tie together, and that leads to problems with the protagonist in our movie.
So I would say that's probably where most people's criticism of this movie would be. It's like, it's kind of like a rinse repeat.
Right.
But there are added layers in this one that are not present in any of the other ones.
Exactly. And we're not going to give any of that away either.
No. And I would say that that's what will set this movie apart. You're like thinking, well, oh, it's just a cookie cutter. It's just the same old movie again. It's really not. There are added elements. One of the standouts, his love interest's dad is played by Joshua Jackson, known for the show Fringe. He was a Mighty Duck. He played Charlie. He was excellent. He was excellent in this film. I enjoyed him playing the dad. And actually, Lee's mother, we know her from Star Wars and Marvel. She was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She played May.
Yep.
She's excellent as the mom, does a really good job. Jackie Chan, I have no complaints with him. He did his Jackie Chan-ness.
Yep.
And then the thing I will say is you're like, well, how much is Daniel in the movie? Daniel, really, what you see in the trailers, there's not much more other than that. So if you're expecting Daniel to be in the movie a whole lot, he's really not, because he's really brought in to be like a mentor. But the thing that I love from the trailer, and this is not a spoiler, they talk about same tree, two different branches.
Right.
So you've got the branch for Mr. Han's school, and you've got the one that Miyagi took with Daniel.
And that's as much as we're going to mention about that, because that's a major
point in the movie.
That is a major plot point in the movie. So we're not going to spoil any of that. But yes, that's the basic premise of the movie. You have two senseis that end up training this boy in this tournament that's coming up, and this is like a New York wide tournament, kind of like All Valley kind of thing, but this is like more than the All Valley, because
it's not really sanctioned by like
no, it's not really sanctioned by a bunch of different dojos. It's just a bunch of karate. It's just a bunch of karate, kung fu, martial arts people that get together, and they break them up into pairs, and it's kind of like think of it like a football thing, where you have a bunch of teams starting out at once, and then it branches all the way down to the Super Bowl. And that's basically the way this does. You have a bunch of fighters, and they all fight, eliminate each other, and then finally you just have two left. Which, it's the way it is with a Karate Kid anyway. But with this one, the difference is when they win, they don't just get a trophy and a fist pump at the end, a frozen fist pump. They actually win some money.
Yeah. Yep. And
it's a pretty substantial amount of money.
Yeah, so there's a little bit more on the line than just bragging rights and a trophy, basically.
Right.
And does that play in the plot? You'll have to see the movie.
You'll have to see the movie. So, language in the movie is it had some, but it wasn't a predominantly noticeable thing. You didn't. Unfortunately, these days there's so much language in movies that when you have a movie that has fewer than 20 cuss words, you really don't notice it and don't remember it. Yeah, that's kind of the way this is.
This one felt like it was one that you could just take your family to see, because there's no adult situations in it.
No adult situations, nothing that you have to cover the kids' eyes. It does have a lot of fighting in it. Of course, it's Karate Kid. Think of the first Karate Kid movie, and it would compare a lot with that as far as language and violence.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. It's like how you misremember things. There's actually more language in some of these old 80s movies than you realize. You go back and go, oh, wow, I forgot about that.
I forgot about that.
So really, this one's just as consistent with the other ones that have been released. I will go ahead and tell you, Jaden Smith is not in this movie. So if you're worried about him showing up, no, he's still obviously somewhere in Hong Kong, living his best life.
And I don't really even remember them mentioning his character in this movie.
No.
Not even Sensei Han.
No, he didn't even mention training anybody from America, nothing like that. They basically brought his character from the fifth movie, and that's pretty much the only real nugget you got from the fifth movie was that.
Right. So if you're expecting anything from that, then you're not going to get it, and you might be disappointed in that respect. I would say you can take your kids to see it. We took my son to see this one, and he enjoyed it a lot, and it kept his attention the whole way through. So yes, this is like I said, think of the old Karate Kid movie, and you can pretty much judge it from there, because I would say that it'd be safe for a kid to go see. Um, like he said, no adult situations, so you're safe there, and language was pretty on par with just about everything else. So
there's no real blood in the movie. I mean,
No
yeah,
blood.
there is karate violence, but it's
Right.
not like over the top.
Right.
And I will have to say, the young boy Lee, he's pretty phenomenal in the movie with the fighting stuff, like all the little flips and how he gets through people and stuff. I was really impressed with the choreography in this film.
Well, he really knows kung fu in real life.
Yeah,
This dude, if you guys remember Johnny from the original, William Zabka actually knows karate.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the moves that he had in the original Karate Kid were actually his moves. And the same thing goes with Lee in this movie.
Yep.
A lot of his moves, dude knows kung fu, man. Dude knows kung fu.
Yeah, I think in Mike Barnes from Part 3, he was actually a karate guy too, so he knew his stuff. But so you actually had people in these films that actually knew real karate,
Right.
and it actually showed. So that was a nice element in the movie, and actually he's a good little young actor. Like I can actually see him going beyond Karate Kid and actually doing other things.
He actually seemed pretty natural in this movie.
He did.
It didn't seem a lot of times, especially when you have new young actors, they seem like they are reading their lines. And that's not the way he seemed. When he presented his lines, it seemed very natural, and it seemed like something he'd actually say.
Yeah, his chemistry with the girl was fantastic, and
Mm-hmm.
I know I've seen her in other things, and I forgot to look up what she was in before this, but they had good chemistry together, and he had good chemistry with Joshua Jackson, the dad character. Like it was very much there, and just his interaction with Jackie Chan and Daniel, his interaction with them was great. So as a young actor, he's right on par where he should be.
The thing is, Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan's chemistry was actually pretty cool, being the two senseis.
Yeah, I really hope
it was really cool.
I really hope if they continue this franchise that we'll get to see more of that.
Right.
Because they were really good together. It's just apparently Ralph Macchio can just work with anybody, because him and William Zabka just go back and forth too. And it's that same kind of chemistry.
Right.
And I want to see more of that. So. Just a note to Sony: continue with this. Don't let this be the last one.
Now, in case you haven't noticed, we have headbands. When we went to see the movie, this was actually a freebie that they were giving to people that go and see the movie. So, chances are, if you go this next weekend, you might not get one, because this movie, I think, is doing pretty well in the box office.
Yeah, I think it was number 3. Like, obviously, it's still running against Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch. So, you've got Tom Cruise in a Disney movie. Right. For the fact to be 3 and still make, I think it's already made its money back. Because, these types of movies are not expensive to make.
Right.
I think probably the most expensive part of this movie was probably Jackie Chan and Daniel's salary.
Probably.
And then filming in New York, which, from looking at the credits, it actually looks like they didn't really film in New York. It looks like they filmed in Canada and Atlanta. That's where it looks like they mostly filmed that.
And Pat tried to pass it off as New York.
and that's a trick they've been doing
because you don't see Times Square.
No,
nothing like that.
And there are parts of Ontario that look like New York City.
Right.
And this is a trick they've been doing forever. Like, especially like with CW shows and shows along that line. They've been doing that trick forever. And it's funny, like, I'm sure Canadians are sitting there going, no, that's Ontario. I know exactly where that building's at.
I've been there. I know where that's at. I walked down
There's like a Tim Hortons, like a block down. If you just pan the camera down to the left a little bit, there's a Tim Hortons on the corner. That's a donut shop in Canada.
Yeah, it's not New York, eh? So let's get into what we actually thought about the movie. I enjoyed this movie. I liked it a lot. this brought back a lot of nostalgia for me from the original Karate Kid movie, because I went and saw. I'm old, y'all. I went and saw the original Karate Kid in the theaters, and it was it was good then, and this one just brings a lot of those feelings, back. When when somebody's getting beat up, you're just like, ah, and when they're winning, you're like, yay, and then when they're getting beat up, you I mean, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's like a Rocky movie. It has that same kind of energy to it.
Yeah, but it's Karate Kid.
And you're thinking, well, this is the sixth one. It surely will not have that same heart, that same passion. No, it has not lost it at all.
It did. It really did. It had the same heart. It had the same passion, and they did an extremely good job with tying everything in together, and with just bringing that heart and that passion right along from the 80s into the present day. And I enjoyed the fact that my son is actually getting to see a Karate Kid movie with that kind of passion and with that kind of heart.
Yep, and it was kind of like old storytelling again, where you had a movie format, hour and a half to tell a story, and this movie accomplished that goal. It was an hour and a half movie. It felt like an old school movie.
It really did.
And I'm glad that we're finally returning that. We don't need these 2.5 hour, 3.5 hour epic movies. We can have one that's a 90-minute movie. And
I mean, if you want to do a 3-hour movie, hey, just take all the edited stuff that you cut out, put it on the Blu-ray, and release it as an extended version, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
as long as you put it back in, not just as something that I can see the deleted scenes. Put it back in where it belongs.
Now, and supposedly that some of the Cobra Kai fans are hating on this. I'm like, this is being made by the same company, the same people.
Right.
Give it a chance. Don't be hating on it.
Give it a chance, and not just that, but give it time.
Yeah.
Give it time. I would say, as far as I'm concerned, I would probably give this movie about 9 popcorns. 9 popcorns out of 10.
Yeah, I think
a lot of that for me is the nostalgia of it.
The nostalgia is definitely there. The format is there. The characters had a lot of heart, and they had a lot more going on. It wasn't just the same beaten path like they had done before with the other movies. Right. So they did something a little bit different with this one.
They really did.
I mean, it still stays the course. Don't get me wrong, because you don't want to stray too far from the Karate Kid formula.
Right.
I would easily give this an 8, 8.5, somewhere in that region. It was a good movie. This is one, again, I can marathon this one, maybe skip 4 and 5, just to watch 1, 2, 3, and then watch this one.
Right.
If I'm feeling very generous, because Mr. Miyagi is in 4, I will watch that one, just because Pat Morita is in it. Otherwise,
yeah, kind of skip that one.
Yeah, and I don't really. And there are parts of 5 that are funny and okay. I'm just not a big fan of Jaden Smith.
So my son, he really liked it. He was excited about it after it was over, and he enjoyed it a lot. And I think he gave it 10 slices of pizza out of 10.
Oh yeah.
Of course, he does that with just about every movie anyway.
If it piques his action, in his bones, he's like, oh yeah, that's a 10.
Right.
Well, I know he was asking about the other movie, so that gives me hope. So I will say that this movie is kind of a gateway. If your kids haven't seen the older ones, let them watch this one, and they'll want to go back and watch the old ones that you enjoyed when you were younger.
Exactly. So let's answer the question. Was it worth the cash, or is it trash? This definitely was worth the cash. This was a fun... one of my other sons, he went and saw it. He said this is a fun movie, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. Yep. This movie is a fun movie, and if you're looking for a good movie to start your summer,
this is it.
This is the one. This is the one to start your summer.
And what's good is, since it's a Sony movie, in 3 months from now, it's going to be on Netflix.
Right.
So you'll be able to enjoy the later half of the year watching it on Netflix as a movie you can have on in the background as a marathon. Your kids, you can sit there with your kids and enjoy it. You can do your laundry, not worry about them bursting in the room and seeing what you're watching, because it's something clean.
Right.
So that's something to consider
Right.
too.
But yeah, this is a very fun movie. It's a very good summer movie. This one, and I would also say probably Mission Impossible 8
Yeah.
would be a good summer movie. So we got some really good movies that are starting out the summer that are really good, fun movies to go and watch.
Yep.
And this one definitely is an extremely fun movie. So it's definitely worth your cash. Well, there's our cue to go.
Yep. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Remember to hit that bell notification for when the next video drops. Leave us a comment. Show no mercy. Tell us what you thought about this movie. Any other suggestions you have for us, let us know in the comments. Remember to strike hard, strike fast, no mercy.
Yes.
Cobra Kai.
And remember, hey, get your friends together and go see this movie, because this is a really fun one to go watch, and it would be really good to go watch as a big group. I would suggest you do that. And when you do, and you hop in that car, you get out and you go and watch that movie, enjoy your movie.
Put him in a body bag.